Hello there, so I'm about to enter Ivythorn Wood, and it's going to be my opportunity to give you a bit of an update about how things have been going. So, I don't know about you, but most people I know have been through a lot of challenges. In fact, it can feel like there's not been a lot else really for a lot of people. Loads and loads of challenges, and this reflects the global situation as we have the earth and its inhabitants literally going through a rebirthing experience. And it's very much like a woman giving birth, because we get the contractions and very strong sensations which we can label as pain, and then we get the respite in between, like the waves coming up as the tide increases. So that's my big picture awareness. That is what is going on for so many of us. So I'll focus on a little bit about my own journey, and what has made such a difference to my journey is doing these mantras which I've been speaking about in films here and there. And I'm still doing the Ganesh mantra, what is full titled Emergency Ganesh Mantra for the removal of all obstacles. I'm still doing this one. In fact, I'm actually on day 202. I never planned to keep going as long as this. And I'm on day 98 of the Chamunda mantra. So, having made attempts and failed to do the 40 days for both of them, it's been a journey to harness my unbending intent, to be absolutely determined to keep going no matter what. And my personal experience actually is that the first 40 days in a sense are the hardest, because that's where I had the opportunity to really work with my intent, things that block the intent, distractions and all the rest of it. And once I managed to achieve the 40 and created a new intention for myself to continue, then it has been so much easier. And I do the Ganesh in the morning, I do the Chamunda in the evening. That's the way I do it. And I'm aware that the Ganesh has something of a male quality to it, so it's really beautifully balancing to do the Chamunda, which is absolutely and emphatically a feminine quality. Really great to have the two, because that helps to keep the masculine and the feminine balance in myself. Very grateful for the advice that's caused me to do this. So with the benefit of having gone so far on this journey, the conclusion that I'm coming to is that what this is doing for me is it's causing me to have a complete life review process, which is actually very similar to what happens to people when they're on their deathbed, and most particularly what happens to people when they've actually passed into spirit. And there's something that Rudolf Steiner refers to, and it's called Karma Loka. And in Karma Loka we get the opportunity to review our life. According to Steiner, it's done in reverse order, starting at the end of life and working backwards. And what happens in that time is you become really present to how you've been hurt and how you've hurt others. So this is what I've been doing. I've been going through this incredibly deep process whereby I've become so aware of how I've been wounded and how I've wounded others. And I've been feeling it all. Really feeling the feelings all the way through. And so much of my story in this sense relates to relationships, wounding on both sides there, and in fact a very hesitant conclusion I would like to share with you is that if you're aware of someone having hurt you, I think the chances are it'll have been a two-way street. I think that's how it is mostly. So if you want to ascertain if we are in a place of wondering, how have we hurt other people? Well, just look at how other people have hurt you. That'll be a clue. Give you a bit of an insight to go for. So this is what's been happening with me. So what I'm doing is, while I'm fully physical and very much alive, I'm going through a process that most commonly is associated with the dying process and what happens after you die. And it seems like, my goodness me, what on earth would cause me to do such a thing? Well, firstly, I would say it was ignorance. I had no idea just how deep this inner journey would be with these mantras. And it does mean that there have been some really painful times as I've literally been put into a situation where I've had to see the things that it's so easier just to not pay attention to. And I would say for myself, I'm one of these people that has very much been influenced by the idea of being in the present moment and focusing on making things happen. And I've not been one to do much delving into the past. It's not something that I've been interested in or attracted to. And in fact, huge amounts of wounding in the past, that's probably not so surprising. Loads and loads of trauma. And yet, for my journey, in order to really become who I have always had the potential to be, this is exactly what I need to do. So, what I'm really concluding about these mantras is they catalyse the kind of spiritual growth that is almost eye-watering in terms of its consequences. And I am just so very, very grateful for all of the experiences that I'm having. And so, just as an example, today I just woke up in a huge state of anxiety. I thought, whoa, anxiety. And that anxiety has pretty much lasted throughout the day until I got in the car and I was on my way to come here and make this film. And I did my simple pranayama breathing practice, Secrets of Health and Vitality, 6 breathing techniques. It's all there in the back catalogue in the Health and Vitality section on YouTube Shaman. It's all there. So that definitely did help to calm me down sufficiently. And then I got here, and my principal tool in order to make the film I wanted to make, I thought I'd face the camera for a change. It was a tripod left at home. I arrived at the woods. Okay, well, in that case I'll just do it a different way, which is what I'm doing. So I never intended to be doing this walk like this, but this is the way it's working out. So relationships, childhood, how I've hurt others, how others have hurt me. There's been so much of this coming up. And what I tend to find is that daily life presents plenty of opportunities for an event to happen to trigger a memory. And that's really what it's been about for me. Memories being triggered, causing, in the first instance, some really strong feelings. Definitely feel like pain. Choosing to go with that until I come out the other side. And this is the thing, the more we surrender to these really painful experiences, the quicker they pass. And the more we resist them, the longer they persist. So it's that one, isn't it? That one we're so familiar with in life. So this has meant that I've had substantial periods of time and I've just not been able to be functional. And then when the contraction eases in my personal rebirthing journey, and I've got the opportunity to become functional again, there's always so much to do. So my lesson there is to accept, okay, you can't do everything, Just do the things that you are most drawn to do, the things you feel most capable of doing in the moment. That's what I tell myself. And this is all incredibly helpful. So, if I've not been in touch in the way perhaps you might have liked, that's the reason why, because of the severity and the depth of this process which I'm going through. And one of the things that we are very much aware of is just how potent a force change is in our lives. So much change. So I've not been down here for longer than I prefer it. And the last time I was down here, the field beyond those trees was completely full of maize plants. And now they've been harvested and it's back to brown earth again. And yeah, that feels like... I'm not quite sure what the word to use is, but that feels like an omen. Yeah, it feels like a bit of an omen. So in these times in which we're living, oh my goodness me, anxiety coming up, fear coming up, old things from the past to be processed and released, all the fears being stimulated by the media about the immediate future and the near future. This is one of the most challenging times, and we do know this. And the thing to do is to accept the ride for what it is. Breathe deep when the anxiety becomes just too much to bear. It really is so helpful. And tune in to what you feel is going on for you, and give attention to whatever feelings you've got coming up, because there is gold within all the challenge that they may be for you in those feelings. And I'm going to finish on the side of this oak tree, because that's what we're looking at. They're looking at the trunk of a massive oak tree, and the oak is the tree from the Celtic oracle which has the power of endurance. That's what oaks are. Oaks are the literal representation and the embodiment of endurance. And sometimes it feels like that's the best we can do, is to hang in there. As the Koreans love to say on their TV shows, hang in there, dude. So that's definitely a helpful piece of advice at all times, really. Whatever's going on, no matter what the challenge may be, just hang in there. And actually, yes, I've just found myself a little bit further on, and I'm now looking straight ahead. That's an ash tree, and that ash tree from the Celtic tree oracle represents rebirth and peace. So when we go into nature, we've got all these wonderful plant allies, and before I came out I had a couple of apples. Apples in the Celtic tree oracle represent eternity and beauty. When you slice an apple in half from top to bottom, you will actually see a shape which is, it's the torus, and within that torus there is a vortex. Really deep stuff, simply slicing an apple in half. So all the love to you. I wish you the very best with your journeys, and I'll catch you another time. Cheers for now.